Hello and welcome to Cascade High School in Clayton, Indiana. My name is Lec Zorn and I'll be bringing you all the action as your Cascade Cadets challenge the South Putnam Eagles in Game 13 of the Indiana High School basketball season. Well, Cascade enters this game with a record of 4-8, having played only 2 home games and having struggled to fill the offensive holes left by last year's 2 senior starters, Evan Birch and Alec Alderson. 6'5" senior center Dalton DuBois has given a great effort, leading the team with 18.4 points and 6.6 rebounds per game, but he hasn't gotten enough help. 5'9" senior point guard Michael Alderson is averaging 7.8 points and a team-high 3.2 assists per game, and the other 3 starters are all averaging less than 5 points per game. 6'6" junior Benson Walker and 6' senior Chase Western each average 4.5 points per game, while 5'10" junior Ross Stevenson averages 3.6 points per game. Now, a little over halfway through the regular season, Cascade tries to get their season back on track tonight against the South Putnam Eagles, who are 6-6 and trying to break a streak of 4 consecutive losing seasons. They're led by sharpshooting 6'6" junior Allen Plunkett, who averages team highs of 17.7 points and 5.3 rebounds per game. But like Dalton DuBois for Cascade, Plunkett is South Putnam's only double-figure scorer. He's joined in the starting lineup by 5'6" junior Thomas Fanning, who is averaging 7.9 points and a team-high 1.5 steals per game. 6'2" junior Dalton Scott, averaging 7.5 points per game. 6'4" junior Steven Schnepp, averaging 3.3 points per game. And 6'5" junior Wes Lesko, averaging 3 points per game. Cascade's head coach is Chris DuBois, who's 119 and 181 in his 14th season with the Cadets. South Putnam's coach is Greg Dean, who's 19 and 61 in his 4th season with the Eagles, and 108 and 148 in his 12th season overall. He was previously the head coach for 2 seasons at West Dell, 2 at Seeger, and 4 at West Washington. He won a sectional championship at West Dell in 2007. Well, at this time, we'll take a short break for a few words from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with the opening tip-off. Cascade South Putnam coming at you live next. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the cadets, Hendricks Regional Health, Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall, and North Salem State Bank, Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, and Dunn Insurance Agency, Gold Partner, Endeavor Communications, Silver Partner, Electric Plus, and Bronze Partner, Hankey Photography, and DMH Photographics. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student-athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, the teams are warming up for this varsity matchup in boys basketball between your Cascade Cadets and the South Putnam Eagles. And we're getting a little bit of a late start because the junior varsity game actually went into overtime with Cascade prevailing by a score of 54-52. In fact, those of you who tuned in earlier caught the very end of that game here on IA Sports Online. You know, usually I just tune in, I connect to make sure that, everything's in order. And then, then just, relax until, a few minutes after the JV game, and then I start the broadcast. But since we were in an overtime game, I thought, why not let you all catch the end of it? So, I'll tell you, this has been one of the oddest weeks probably in the history of Cascade Athletics, certainly in the history of my 6-year sports commentary career. Before last Friday, only once in my career had a game been canceled or postponed because of weather, and that was the that was a baseball game or softball game 5 years ago in my rookie season of commentary, and it was never made up, and I think that's pretty much the case in high school baseball because you're playing 5 or 6 games a week, and there's really not much opportunity to make up any games. So, anyway, last Friday I was excited to head down to Cloverdale to cover the Cascade boys-girls varsity doubleheader. Each team, each Cloverdale boys, each of their 2 basketball teams sports one of the best players in the state, especially the boys. They have the state's leading scorer in 5'9" sharpshooting guard Jalen Moore, who's averaging, get this, 37.1 points per game. Yes, that's 37.1. He's already signed to play with Utah State. He actually beat, you probably remember Cooper Neese, Cloverdale's sharpshooting guard, who went to Butler for a few weeks, then transferred to Indiana State, where he'll be a freshman, where he will be a freshman in eligibility next season. He's redshirting this season as a transfer. But last year, even though Neese is the 7th leading scorer in state history, Moore actually was the leading scorer that season for Cloverdale, 27.5 points per game to Neese's 27.2. Well, this year, without Neese there, Jalen Moore's really been shining. And last year, he actually beat Cascade. It was a tie game, and he penetrated through 2 Cascade defenders to lay in a game-winning shot at the buzzer after Cooper Neese had fouled out. So I was looking forward to seeing him again. But anyway, and then the girls have Tori Combs, a dominating junior center, who's the 12th or 13th leading rebounder in the state, and, should be a very high college prospect a year from now. And so anyway, I was really looking forward to that doubleheader, but it got postponed because of the awful weather. Got postponed till Monday, and it was postponed again last night because of the continued awful weather. So, yeah, first 5 seasons, first 5 school years I commentate, I only have 1 weather cancellation. Now all of a sudden I have the same game canceled or postponed twice. And unfortunately, it's no longer going to be a doubleheader. The girls will play out at Cascade on Thursday, and then the boys next Tuesday. And unfortunately, you're going to have to make a choice because the Cascade girls have a game at the same time. It'll be their senior day right here at Clayton against Avon. And then, Cascade actually, the girls are going to play 3 games in a row this week. Their Cloverdale game rescheduled for Thursday at Cloverdale. Then they had, previously scheduled games. The Wick crossover game on Friday night against a team, I don't think that's been determined yet, because there were, I believe, 4 of the 6 teams in the Western Division of the Western Indiana Conference still had a chance to finish in the same position as Cascade. So we'll see how that turns out. And then Saturday, Cascade has an afternoon game against Plainfield, while the boys have a night game against Indian Creek the same day here at Clayton. It will not be a boys-girls doubleheader. Instead, there will be a girls varsity, junior varsity doubleheader with the JV game starting at 12, and then then starting at 6 there will be a boys varsity, junior varsity doubleheader with Plainfield. So anyway, it's and I'll also be here Friday covering the Wick crossover game. So I wish they would just let me bring my sleeping bag and camp out here in the gym, rather than, going home for about an 8-hour sleep or so and then heading back here. And I'll be spending just about the whole day here, because I'm planning on just staying here and, hanging out, which I did last year when they had the afternoon, and evening boys girls varsity, junior varsity doubleheaders against South Vermilion. And it was a lot of fun. Actually, I'm involved in film. I'm an actor and screenwriter in addition to being a sports commentator. And I actually sat there during the break of several hours between the 2 sessions and worked on a screenplay. So anyway, got 10:31 to go here on the pregame clock now. And team's still warming up. Have probably a little bit of a below-average crowd here. I think we have in the neighborhood of 150 to 200 fans. Certainly understandable that a lot of people don't want to be out on a night like this. Right now it is 7 degrees here in Clayton, which is the highest it's been all day. It looks like It looks like this might be our last awful day of the winter. Supposed to be a high of 21 tomorrow, and then followed the next 8 days by 30, 37, 41, 48, 44, 43, 45, and 37, which sounds like paradise compared to what we've been having lately. I got back on December the 28th from Florida, where I was visiting my kids for Christmas, and I had like those few decent days last week, and then the weather got awful again. So I really had mostly awful weather since I've been back. And I'm 47 years old. I'm a lifelong Hoosier, and I think this is the worst collective winter of any winter of my life. I mean, certainly it's one of the worst, probably one of the worst four. And I know it's easy to say because people's feelings are generally governed by the present a lot more than the past. But it does. I honestly don't remember a 3-week stretch where it was this consistently this cold. And I happen to be a Swedish American, so you'd think that I would be better equipped to handle it, but I'm not. I think part of it is because I'm so thin. I'm 5'10" and about 155 pounds. If I gained some weight, maybe it wouldn't be quite as bad. But anyway, it is great to be here as always in Clayton. This is my home away from home, and really, this has really been an odd schedule. Both the boys and girls have several few. They both have. I'm trying to think of the right way to say this grammatically. They both have, I think, 3 or 4 fewer home games this season than last season. So hopefully it'll go back to being a lot more next season, because I've really missed coming out here as much as I did last season. I am glad that we've, done a few of the road and neutral site games. Hopefully we'll do more in the future. I'd love to do every home and away Cascade game, and hopefully I'll get that chance someday, but we'll see. And certainly, I've fallen in love with and embraced this community, and I feel like, it's done the same with me. I don't know about the falling in love part, but at least embraced and accepted me. And, I'm glad that I've gotten to know quite a few of the fans and, the parents here. And I had a really nice incident in the last boys' home game, which actually was a whopping 32 days ago, December 15th, the day after my birthday. It was the boys-girls varsity doubleheader against Owen Valley. And after the game, Dylan Compliment's brother came up to me and told me that he's going to college in Tennessee and that he enjoys listening to the broadcast. And I really appreciated him taking the time to do that. He was a really nice guy. And Dylan's brother, I didn't catch your name, but if you're listening, it was great meeting you, and hopefully you'll keep tuning in and hear a lot of Cascade Cadets victories over the years, and hopefully state championships someday. And I think with the commitment that the community has to the athletic programs and the great parental support, I think Cascade very well could win a Class 2A championship someday. And certainly the girls basketball team has been in position to do that for several years. They had a devastating loss in their first tournament game last year. Hopefully they will redeem themselves this season. The boys had a breakthrough season, last season. Unfortunately lost 2 important starters with Evan Birch, their leading scorer, who's now down at Franklin College, and then their third leading scorer, Alec Alderson. But still, with 10 games to go in the regular season, still have a shot to get things turned around. And again, they're better than Cascade. Really is better than their record implies. And Cascade in any, like I said, in football, boys basketball or girls basketball, they're almost always better than the record implies because they play such a murderous schedule. And to give you an idea, this season, and keep in mind Cascade's a Class 2A team, and there are 4 classes here in Indiana high school basketball. They've played a 4A team, lost that game, but then they've played 8 3A teams, and they're 3-5 in those games, which is not great. But when you're a 2A team and you go 3-5 against 3A teams, that's actually pretty good. And then against other 2A teams, they're 1-2. And you look at by comparison, their opponent tonight, South Putnam, they enter the game. They're also a 2A team, by the way, and they enter the game with a record of 6-6, which sounds, of course, better than 4-8. But you got to scratch the surface. South Putnam, they've played only 4 teams in Class 3A. They're 1-3 in those games. Then against fellow 2A teams, they're 0-3, and so 5 of their 6 wins have come against 1A teams. They're 5-0 against 1A teams, but Cascade hasn't played a single 1A team. So certainly, if you're going by strength of schedule, Cascade probably a better team than South Putnam. Hopefully they'll prove that tonight, but we'll see. That's why you play the game. And then let's see here. And also that philosophy, the tough scheduling philosophy. You look at it. It holds true with the girls as well. Let's look at how the girls are scheduling this year. Of their 17 games that they've played so far, they've played 2 teams in Class 4A. Lost both of those games, although they only lost by 2 to Decatur Central. So certainly they gave a heck of an effort there. Then, and their other loss was to Martinsville, who has Kaya Traylor, who's one of the best players in state history, so no shame in that one. She's headed for Purdue. And then they've played 12 teams in Class 3A, and they're 6-6 in those games. And then they've played only 3 games in against their fellow 2A schools, and they're 2-1 in those games. The only loss coming to Covenant Christian back in Game 2, and I believe Covenant Christian is still... They were, I believe, 9th in the state in Class 2A at that time. And they were 9th, I believe, in the state in Class 2A at that time, and I think they're still somewhere around there. They have a great program there, Covenant Christian does, on the west side of Indianapolis. Don't get a lot of publicity, lost because they're only a mile north from Ben Davis, so that's a big shadow to get lost in, but, Covenant Christian has a great athletic department in its own right. And... got a rising football program, too. Larry McWhorter, who coached Zionsville to the state championship in football in 1996, started the Covenant Christian program from scratch. And their first full season was only in 2015. And they're already one of the top 1A programs in the state in football. So hats off to Larry. I actually commentated his last game at Zionsville in 2003, back in the playoffs. It was a game against Cathedral down at Arsenal Tech, which it was a Cathedral home game since they do not have a home stadium. They rented Arsenal Tech for the game, and it was a very emotional game in which Zionsville nearly pulled off the upset of the century after their quarterback Josh Hinkle, who went on to play for Manchester College, had a scary injury in the first half where he was down on the field for 20 minutes. And I think he turned out, if I remember correctly, he was not seriously injured. I mean, obviously it wasn't too bad because he went on to play in college. But, obviously it looked scary at the time when you have a player who's motionless on the field for 20 minutes. And their backup actually in his first play in the game, threw a touchdown pass after throwing only 3 passes on the season. I don't even remember his name, but it was quite an inspirational performance and great effort. And I remember Zionsville actually, who entered the record with a record of 4-5. They actually got a standing ovation from the Cathedral fans after the game, which it was really nice. The Cathedral fans are very classy. I think the fans of the Catholic schools in general are classy, So, and I'm not a Catholic, but I've certainly always been treated graciously when I've commentated. When the teams I've commentated have played against Catholic schools. And in fact, Ron Colley, particularly stands out. That they were awesome hosts. The only time I ever commentated a game down there, that was a football game against Plainfield back in 2005. So anyway, now we got down to 20 seconds on the pregame clock, and so anyway, hopefully we'll get a win here. Cascade. You look at their schedule; they have not had a winning streak all season. And I think the biggest problem has been lack of offense. Both Cascade, both the boys and the girls teams lost 2 starters from last season who averaged in double figures, and 3 of the 4 are playing college basketball, and at that we will pause for the national anthem. Well, thank you to Cascade for that lovely rendition of the national anthem. But what I was saying is both the boys and girls basketball teams lost 2 double-figure scoring starters from last season. 3 of the 4 playing college ball. On the girls' side, Bailey Walker at Franklin College, Michaela Collier at Goshen College. Then on the boys' side, Evan Birch at Franklin College, alongside Bailey Walker. And then Alec Alderson, who I believe is not playing college basketball. I've looked up online, have not seen anything about it. So he apparently is not. But anyway, I knew that all 4 of those players were good, of course, but I think I underestimated how hard they would be to replace. And both the boys and girls teams have struggled offensively this season. And so, but the Lady Cadets have come a long way in overcoming their early struggles. They started off 0-6, now they're 8-9, and on a 3-game winning streak, and really look like they might be peaking at the right time this year, as opposed to last year when they really, I think, just started to get complacent and sloppy at the end of the season, which set up their playoff, their sectional loss to South Putnam. But this year, on the other hand, I think they're playing their best basketball. I think they're playing their best basketball of the season right now. And I think with Cascade, with the boys, again, they're only a little over half of the way through the season, so they still have time to get it turned around. And I think getting a solid win here at home tonight, only their 3rd home game of the season, will, help. And I think just being at home, and 5 of their last 10 are at home, including tonight, so certainly that's going to be a nice contrast to only 2 of their first 14 being here at home. I mean, this is their first home game in 32 days. So now tip over to Michael Alderson, who will bring it up. Gives it over to Dylan Compliment. Now down in the corner, Alderson pitches inside to Stevenson, puts it up, and he's fouled. Ross Stevenson, averaging only 3.5 points a game on the season. Be good to get him into the offense early here. 7:46 to go. So the first foul of the game by either team is against Dalton Scott. Dalton Scott, he is... and the first free throw, no good there by Stevenson. So now, so he misses them both, and South Putnam will bring it up there. Donald Scott with the ball, gives it inside to Wes Lesko, who's 6'6", 264. So he's a 6'6", just about, both vertically and horizontally. Now a three-pointer there, well beyond NBA range by Allen Plunkett. He's the team's leading scorer, and so he opens the scoring here nearly a minute into the game. Plunkett averaging 17 points a game coming in, the only double-figure scorer for the Eagles. Now a three-pointer, no good on the other end, but Stevenson picks it up and puts it in, redeeming himself from those two missed free throws. So it's a 3-2 South Putnam lead here. South Putnam taking their time and getting it past midcourt. They finally do. And now drive to the basket, up and in by Plunkett. So he has 5 quick points for South Putnam. Each team with only one double-figure scorer. Plunkett, only a junior, should be a very big college prospect a year from now. Now Du Bois lays it in for Cascade. 5-4 your score now. South Putnam leading, 6:23 to go here in the first quarter. Now a steal there by Stevenson. He brings it down, pitches over to a driving, and now he lays it in there. Beautiful move there by Western. Chase Western with his first points, and it gives Cascade their first lead, 6-5. So 2 points apiece from Stevenson, Du Bois, and Western. So now on the other end, we got a double team there on Lane Watson, and there is a foul committed there. It's going to go against Chase Western. He's a 6-foot senior for the Cadets. A little over 2 minutes into this game. This is the first boys' home game in the year 2018, only the third of the season, and this being game 13. I said that for Cascade, and there's another foul on Western, so 2 quick ones. So Western might go ahead and sit down this early in the game. So now the ball inbounded there to Watson. He pitches it back now. Pitches it back to Fanning. Now Dalton Scott with the ball. I said Donald earlier. I meant to say Dalton. And now a three-pointer there by Plunkett with 8 quick points, 6 of them on three-pointers. Well, if his shooting is this on the whole game, we might be in trouble. So now inside to Du Bois. Pitches. Now he goes back beyond the three-point lane. Pitches out now over to Western. Thinks about a three. Then gives over now to complement. Now inside to Du Bois. Out to Stevenson. 3. In and out. And now a collision there. And Lesko got knocked to the ground. He appears to be okay. But it is going to be another foul on Western. Wow. So that's okay. Apparently the first whistle, I thought it was a foul on Western. Apparently it wasn't. Nevertheless, Western has 2 fouls, which is bad enough here in the first 3.5 minutes of the game, and it's an 8-6 lead. All 8 points by Allen Plunkett. He's an outstanding shooter and he got good speed in it too. Now, but he throws a pass inside to Lesko that goes out of bounds. Apparently, some miscommunication between the two. Plunkett at 6'5", and shooting that well he should be. And now we got a travel there on the other end that's going to go against Benson Walker at 6'6", the tallest player for the Cadets, an inch taller than Du Bois. Oh, and now a mistimed steal attempt there by Du Bois. He collides with Watson. That's the first on Du Bois. Hopefully he will stay out of foul trouble, because if he's out of the game, then I believe that it will shift into the favor of South Putnam. Their baseline jumper, no good by Fanning. And now Alderson brings it up, pitches down to a driving Du Bois, who pitches it over to Walker, misses a short lay-in, and the ball goes out of bounds to South Putnam here. 3:58 to go here in the first quarter at Clayton. It's an 8-6 South Putnam lead. South Putnam entering the game at 6-6, Cascade at 4-8, but having played a much tougher schedule. And now another long three by Plunkett. This was no good. I believe that's his first missed field goal of the game. Stevenson now cross court. Now gives it back. Now gives it over to Alderson. It comes off a pick there by Du Bois, but then he stops and pitches over there to Compliment. And a Compliment for three. He hit it. He swished it. He scored 11 in front of his brother that game against Owen Valley after averaging less than 2 points a game, prior to that on the season. It'd be great if he could have another performance like that. He was a big key in the Owen Valley victory that night. So it's a 9-8 Cascade lead. The teams already had, each team has already had the lead at least twice. Very competitive so far. Fanning with the ball. He's a 5'11 junior. Lesko, the only senior on the South Putnam roster. It's a very junior-dominated team. And now, nice fake on the jump shot. Nice fake on the jump shot, and then drive to the basket by Plunkett, but he does miss. And the ball goes out of bounds to Cascade with 2:48 to go here in the first quarter at Clayton. We're coming at you live here on audiosportsonline.com. My name is Lec Zorn, the voice of Cascade Sports. Now, Du Bois double-teamed at the baseline, posts up, puts it up, no good. Lesko the rebound, and he pitches down court to Fanning, who brings it past the mid-court line, drives it in himself. It's stripped away by Alderson, however, who brings it up for Cascade, pitches down court to Compliment, and there's a whistle here with 2:17 to go. Cascade with a 9-8 lead. Plunkett, Allen Plunkett, a 6'5", sharpshooting junior for South Putnam, has all of the Eagles' points. Now they got Stevenson wide open for three. No good, though, off the rim. And Plunkett comes away with the rebound. He brings it down himself. A nice behind-the-back dribble there. Loses control, but it's grabbed there by Watson. Now Fanning with the ball near midcourt, guarded by Alderson. Pitches it over to Dalton Scott. Now Fanning in the corner. Goes over to the left perimeter. Plunkett tried to set a pick, but it didn't work. 1:40 to go now in the quarter. And now Plunkett just inside the three-point line, no good. His shooting now starting to fade after he hit, I believe, his first three, two of them being three-pointers. So now Cascade with a 1-point lead in the balls, 1:24 to go. Three-pointer is good there by Du Bois. He has a team-high 5. And so it's a 12-8 lead. It's Cascade leading. It's the biggest lead that either team has had here in this young game. And now we've got some contact there between Stevenson and Watson. Let's see what the call is. It's going to be against Cascade. It's going to be against Stevenson. Non-shooting foul. So a minute to go in the quarter. Now Cascade on top, 12-8. Double team there, and now a turnaround jumper, no good. And Du Bois gets the rebound. So Alderson with the ball on the other side. .24 seconds left. Cascade looks like they might even be holding for the last shot. Yeah, it looks like they are. And why not? They got a 4-point lead here. Wow, yeah, 8 seconds now. This is, well, hold that thought. But now Du Bois takes it inside, pitches it over to Compliment for 3. No good, and that's it. So after 1 quarter of play here at Clayton, your Cascade Cadets off to a very good start. They lead the South Putnam Eagles by a score of 12-8 here on AudioSportsOnline.com. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the cadets, Hendricks Regional Health, Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall, and North Salem State Bank, Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza and Dunn Insurance Agency, Gold Partner, Endeavor Communications, Silver Partner, Electric Plus, and Bronze Partner, Henke Photography and DMH Photographics. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student-athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, we're about to start the second quarter of this boys varsity basketball game with your Cascade Cadets leading the South Putnam Eagles by a score of 12-8. It's been a very tight and competitive game so far, but Cascade closed out the quarter on a 6-0 run. Dalton Du Bois has 5 points, Dylan Compliment 3, Chase Western has 2, and Ross Stevenson has 2. For South Putnam, Allen Plunkett has all 8. So now Fanning takes the inbounds pass from Austin Arnold now, newly into the game. Pitches inside to Plunkett, and we got some contact here. I think they're going to get Compliment for a reach-in. It is indeed on Compliment. That's his first, team 5th. Only 2 fouls so far on South Putnam. So non-shooting foul still. But very likely, however, that the Eagles will get into the bonus. Now we got a 3-pointer from the corner. No good. And Walker comes up with the rebound, gives it to Alderson, who brings it past midcourt. Pitches down to Compliment. Pitches all the way across court. And now a good ball movement here. Goes back to Alderson. Now back to Compliment there. Thinks about a 3. Then pitches over to, and now a jump shot just inside the 3-point lane, and it is good there by Bryson Phillips. He's a 5'9 junior with his first points. So 5 cadets have already scored. And they have a 14-8 lead, having scored the last 8 points of the game. So now no good there. And now the tipped out of bounds to Cascade. That shot there was by Fanning. Nice bravery there, taking it inside the middle, being only 5'11 and 145. Now, I'm 5'10 and 155, so I can only imagine, how I would, the risk I'd be subjecting myself to, going inside with, these big guys here. So now a steal there, and South Putnam brings it down. Fanning takes it all the way in. No good, however, on the layup. And nice rebound there by Tharp. And now his down-court pass, however, is stolen. Plunkett gets it, and he banks it in easily. So Plunkett has all 10 South Putnam points. They finally break the 8-0 run there by Cascade. The Cadets still lead 14-10. So, Cascade, they're in solid shape. They just got to take care of the ball. If they really don't have any unforced errors, or at least very few the rest of the game, I think they're going to pull this out. .6:30 to go here in the second quarter. Cascade leading 14-10. Game 13 for the Cadets, only their 3rd at home. Their first home game in 32 days. So now Benson Walker posts up, puts it off the glass. No good. The Eagles get the rebound now. Fanning brings it up. And he pitches over to Austin Arnold. Now a 3-pointer there from the left perimeter. No good. Du Bois, a very aggressive rebound. He'll bring it down court himself. He's a very good ball handler for a big guy. However, it's stolen from him. Struggle for the loose ball. South Putnam comes away with it. And wisely Kane Gregory holds up. And now we've got a three-pointer by Fanning, and he hits it after a bounce. First points by South Putnam by a player other than Allen Plunkett. So all of a sudden, South Putnam answers Cascade's 8-0 run with a 5-0 run of their own to cut the lead back to 1. 14-13 with 5:42 to go here in the second quarter at Clayton. Cascade does take a timeout. I think that's a good idea. Just because the 5 points coming off both of the field goals of this 5-0 run by South Putnam coming off of turnovers. You got to take care of the ball. I remember, Cascade in their first the Lady Cadets in their first home game of the season committed 24 turnovers in the 2-point loss to Indian Creek, and you think about that. Had they not had, even if they only had say 15, which is still too many, but even if they only had 15, they still would have won easily. So, and since then, they've made great strides in that area. And so, as long as Cascade doesn't have any more bad passes like that, then, they should be all right. But, I think one thing that when you have a team who's so reliant on one player, if you can just get them down early by several points and then induce that one guy to try to take the game over while you're geared to at least contain him, I don't think Cascade has the manpower to shut down Allen Plunkett, but I do think because the team is so limited offensively outside of Plunkett, Cascade can contain him, double, triple team him, keep him, under 20 points, and that would give Cascade an excellent chance to win. And now a three-pointer there from the left perimeter, no good. And, however, rebound by Compliment. He tries to feed Walker, but miscommunication, and it goes out of bounds to South Putnam, who now will have the chance to take the lead. They trail by 1, 5:19 to go here in the second quarter. I remember, hold that thought. But, so Fanning with the ball guarded by Alderson. Cascade playing man-to-man. Now a three-pointer there is good by Fanning. He has 6 now, all of his points on three-pointers. So now all of a sudden it's a 10-0 run by South Putnam to take their first lead of the quarter. So they did a great job answering Cascade's 8-0 run. Now Alderson fakes a jump shot and then pulls up, and he hits one to tie it. Alderson with his first points. And we're tied here at 16, nearly a quarter and a half into this game. Coming to you live at Clayton here on audiosportsonline.com. My name is Lec Zorn. Honor and a pleasure to have you with me. So Fanning now drives into the lane, puts it up, looking like he was trying to draw contact, doesn't get it. And Compliment gets the rebound, gives it up to Alderson, brings it past midcourt. And it loses control, but Compliment picks it up. Now he gives it over to Bryson Phillips. Phillips near the top of the key, being closely guarded. Now pitches over to Alderson, drives into the lane. Now pitches back to a wide open Compliment for 3. No good off the rim. Rebound there by Plunkett, and he brings it up himself. Now he drives into the lane, puts up a jumper. No good off the back of the rim. Compliment the rebound, and he will bring it past midcourt. Gives it up to Phillips. Thinks about a 3. They got him for a palming violation, however. So South Putnam will take over the ball, tied at 16, 3:35 to go here in the second quarter. So Ross Stevenson coming in, and Dylan Compliment sits down. Meanwhile, for South Putnam, we've got Stephen Schnepp coming in and Dalton Scott sitting down. So now a three-pointer there by Fanning, no good. Rebound there by Alderson. Pitches down court to a driving Tharp. Now he gives over to a driving Walker, and he's fouled. only the third foul of the game against South Putnam, coming with 3:19 to go here in the second quarter at Clayton. They got Plunkett on that one, only his first. So now into Du Bois, fakes a three, then pitches over to Mason Tharp. Now he gives it over to Michael Alderson, drives the baseline, pitches across court to Stevenson, drives to the basket, pitches back out to Alderson, now over to Tharp, puts up a three, no good off the front of the rim, rebound Fanning. Under 3 minutes to go now in the second quarter, still tied at 16. So now Fanning fakes a three, guarded by Du Bois, now drives inside, puts up a jumper from about 10 feet and hits it. So all of a sudden, Fanning, Plunkett scored the first 10 points for South Putnam. Now Fanning has scored the last 8, and they account for all of the South Putnam points. They lead 18-16. And now a steal there, and by it comes no good there on the driving shot there. Arnold drove down, tried to bank it in. However, Steven Schnepp drew a foul, putting it up on the rebound. This one is going to be on Benson Walker. That's his first, team sixth. So Schnepp will go to the free throw line for 2. Schnepp, a 6'3" sophomore. First shot, no good off the front of the rim. 6 players have scored for Cascade. Only 2 have scored for South Putnam. Schnepp good on the second one. The third Eagle to score. And it's a 19-16 Cascade lead. And now Tharp pass stolen there. Stolen by Arnold. Fanning will bring it up. Fanning, by the way, already ahead of his average. Averages 7 a game on the season. And now drives to the basket. It's stripped, however. Picked up by Tharp. Takes it down one-on-one. Got a great steal there. Great steal there by Schnepp. He takes it down himself and lays it in. And now Cascade takes a much-needed timeout with 1:39 to go here in the quarter. This game's starting to slip away. They led 14-6. Now it's been a 15-2 run there by South Putnam to take control of this game. Cascade's still in it, trailing by only 5 late in the second quarter. But certainly their ball handling has gotten their ball protection has gotten lax. And coach trying to settle them down now. So the mood in the huddle seems calm. Coach probably just telling them, "Hey guys, take care of the basketball." I mean, if they do that, they're going to have an excellent shot to pull this one out. Although I give Fanning a lot of credit for the kind of offensive explosion he's had. And if he continues that in this game, South Putnam's going to have a very good chance to pull this one out. This would not be a devastating loss for Cascade, but certainly a very disappointing loss. This is a game that they should win. Alderson now near the left corner, drives to the baseline, pitches inside to Walker. He puts it in and he's fouled. So Benson Walker with his first points of the game. So now there have been 7 cadets to score. That makes it a one-possession game again, and Walker will go to the free throw line to try to complete the three-point play. Now Lesko coming in for Plunkett. I believe this is the first time in the game that Plunkett has sat down. And Walker good, completing the three-point play. 21-19 your score. 1:10 to go here in the second quarter. Now double teaming, trying to get a steal there. He pitches over to Arnold now. Pitches over to wide open for 3. No good, however. And Lesko gets the rebound, puts it up, and he's fouled. I think they're going to get Benson Walker there for blocking with 59.1 seconds to go here in the second quarter at Clayton. South Putnam with a 21-19 lead. The Eagles enter the game 6-6, Cascade 4-8. So Lesko going to the line for two. Then that does put South Putnam in the bonus, and Lesko is good on his first free throw. That's his first point of the game. And South Putnam goes back up by 3. Second one is up, and it is no good off the back of the rim. And now we got a foul on the rebound. Walker got hacked there by Schnepp. That's Schnepp's first, team 6th, so Cascade's still not in the bonus yet. Compliment gives it to Alderson, who will bring it past midcourt here. Stevenson now. Over to Alderson. Coming off a pick by DuBois. Stevenson puts it up, and it's an air ball. And it goes out of bounds to South Putnam with 45.1 seconds to go here in the second quarter. South Putnam 22, Cascade 19. Cascade's biggest lead was 6. South Putnam's biggest has been 5. Now, three-pointer from the corner. No good off the rim, and we got a foul on the rebound attempt. It's going to go against South Putnam. That will put Cascade into the bonus. It's going to be on Lesko. No, I apologize. The last foul was the 5th. That was the 6th. The first foul on Lesko. So 25 seconds to go. Cascade trying to at least get a tie to take into the locker room. Alderson with the ball now. Compliment with the ball. Now over to Dalton DuBois, 12 seconds left. Gives it over to Michael Alderson. 8 seconds. 6. Now DuBois trying to set a pick. Doesn't work. However, he finds a wide open player in the corner for 3. No good, and that's it. And that was... that was compliment there on the last shot. So, after one half of play here at Clayton in the first boys basketball home game of 2018, your Cascade Cadets trail the South Putnam Eagles by a score of 22-19 here on audiosportsonline.com. We'll be back with a first half recap after these words from our sponsors. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the cadets, Hendricks Regional Health. Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall and North Salem State Bank. Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza and Dunn Insurance Agency. Gold Partner, Endeavor Communications. Silver Partner, Electric Plus. And Bronze Partner, Henke Photography and DMH Photographics. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, we're at halftime with your Cascade Cadets trailing the South Putnam Eagles by a score of 22-19. It's been a wild and woolly game of momentum swings by both teams. Cascade started off the game down 8-6, then went on an 8-0 run spanning the first and second quarters before South Putnam ran off a 10-0 lead of their own. And then Cascade did tie it on a Michael Alderson jump shot at 16. But then the Eagles scored the next 5 points of the game and have led ever since. So, anyway, let's take a look at the individual scoring here. First of all, for your Cascade Cadets, Dalton DuBois leads the way with 5 points, followed by Dylan Compliment with 3, Benson Walker with 3, Chase Western with 2, Ross Stevenson with 2, Bryson Phillips with 2, and Michael Alderson with 2. So 7 cadets have scored, but none have scored more than 5, and 6 of the 7 have just scored 2 or 3. Meanwhile, for South Putnam, Allen Plunkett has 10, Thomas Fanning has 8, Stephen Schnepp has 3, and Wes Lesko has 1. So basically, this is a game in which Cascade, physically the teams look like they're about even. Cascade certainly has played the tougher schedule. Like I said, even though they're 4-8 compared to South Putnam's 6-6, and they're both Class 2A schools, Cascade has played a much, much, much tougher schedule. So, Cascade's wins are much higher quality wins. Like I said, 5 of South Putnam's 6 wins on the season have come against Class 1A teams, and Cascade doesn't even play 1A teams, not in boys or girls basketball. So, certainly, Cascade certainly has been the more tested team of the season. And really, after one quarter, for the most part, they played pretty well mistake-free in the first quarter. They led by 12-8 at the end of one. However, in the second half, they just got lax and sloppy with the ball handling. And, they committed 4 or 5 really preventable turnovers that, were converted into, I would say, 6-8 points, and clearly the difference in the game so far. So if we play, I would give us a B-, C+ for our first half performance. If we play our A game in the second half, I think we're going to win this one. South Putnam has generally played well. They've made few mistakes. So as long as we, protect the basketball, don't make mistakes of our own, and as long as we don't completely go cold, in our shooting, I think we are going to win this one. So, and the thing is, being down by only 3 points, it's close enough that, there's absolutely no reason to panic. As opposed to, like, I remember in the, you go back to the girls' sectional loss to South Putnam last year. We were down by 11 at the end of one quarter, and even though it was cut to like 6 or 7 in the quarter, we had already had to play so hard just to start cutting into the margin. And even though we did come back to tie in the third quarter twice at 27 and 29, I think we ran out of gas in doing so and really just folded and collapsed the rest of the way. And so, right now, just down by one possession, we can just be very methodical and just, if we play our A game in the second half, that should be all it's going to take to win. Whereas, we had dug ourselves enough of a hole in the tournament game last year that even playing our A game, we were going to have to. Our margin of error was pretty low because of how bad the start was to the game. So now we have some kind of, I don't know if it's a Little League game or, junior high game or whatever, but, maybe these are some future cadets out here. So, yeah, I'm actually, right now, I'm out, right now I'm actually updating my Facebook status update, giving the broadcast link to this game. I usually do that in the pregame. I forgot today because I got a lot on my mind. And I'll tell you, at the risk of getting too personal, I actually had a minor traffic accident on the way here. I was in Plainfield, I was on US 40 heading here, a little bit west of 267, which is the road you take to go down to Plainfield High School. And this guy hit me from behind, and, while I was stopped at a stoplight, he hit me from behind. There was, some body damage to the back right of the car. Bashed in, the cover for the tail light back there. And, he was totally gracious, apologetic, took responsibility for it, gave me his insurance information. So, but still, it's just going to be such a hassle, if you've ever had a car accident, and even if it wasn't your fault, you know what a hassle it is to have to deal with the insurance companies, even when they're not giving you a hard time, just all the, formalities and technicalities and having to go get, possibly go get a new car or, and then figure out what you're going to do while your car is being repaired. Hopefully this guy's insurance company will rent me a car, which actually did happen one time before. So hopefully that'll happen again, especially this time of year, because my car is 11 years old. My wife and I bought it brand new, and it's got 125,000 miles on it. Went over 125,000 a day. And I've been hoping the last few weeks that I can hack it out for a few more years since it's completely paid for. But, maybe this is a sign that it's just time to get a new one. And so, but yeah, I wouldn't mind, if they rented me one to look, so I could have a really nice car to drive in the meantime. So we'll see what happens. But I didn't intend to get into all that detail, but what I was going to say is, I've been kind of, I'm trying to think how to say this. Basically, it's just been really, irritating and frustrating and really a drag to go through all this awful weather because it's just been so restricting and, it's just interfered with my life so much, and then to add this to the mix. And, I thought about, calling my boss and saying, hey, I got into an accident. I can't commentate the game tonight. But I'm thinking, God, all the bad stuff that's happened in my life these last few weeks, basketball commentary is one of the absolute great joys of my life. I got to come here and do the game, because it's the last 3 weeks have been hard enough, and the next few days are going to be hard enough. So I really need to be here doing this game right now, and then I can worry about the other stuff after the game. So I'm very much a firm believer in the show must go on, and that the best thing to do in life is what you love, no matter how bad things are. And I think that's how you honor yourself and how you honor those people who love you. I remember my maternal grandmother died 5 days before the Indianapolis 500 back in 2004, suddenly and unexpectedly at the age of 94. She appeared to be in great health. She was still driving and still living alone. And, I never even thought about missing the race. And some people thought, well, how could you, go to the race at a time like that? And my answer is, she was one of the greatest people I've ever known. And she was a person who lived life to the fullest. And, I feel like I would honor her better by doing something that I love to do than I could just by sitting at home, And I have no doubt that she would have wanted me to go, because she would want me to do things that I love so much. And the Indianapolis 500 is like a second Christmas to me. And so I do feel like I honored her by going to the race and having a good time. Because I did what she did, which is just do the things that I love to do in life. So now Alderson starts off missing a layup. Fanning brings it down for the Eagles. Eagles with the ball in a 3-point lead. Now a three-pointer from the corner. Air ball. Loose ball, however. And Watson comes away with the rebound. Pitches it back to Fanning now. 7:25 to go here in the third quarter at Clayton. And now we've got a whistle here. I think it's going to be a foul away from the ball. Going to be on Western. That's his third. He had 2 in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game. So now Now a nice steal attempt there by Du Bois. Doesn't quite work, but it was a good effort. Now he pitches down to Lesko. Now over to Plunkett. No good on a short jump shot. However, Fanning gets the rebound after Du Bois fell down. 6:54 to go now in the third quarter. South Putnam leading Cascade by a score of 22-19 here on AudioSportsOnline.com. My name is Lec Zorn, the voice of Cascade Sports. Now inside to Lesko, and now I think they got him for pushing off on Du Bois. Yes, so foul on Lesko, his second. Bryson Phillips back into the game. Chase Western sitting down now for the Cadets. Cascade with the ball and a 3-point deficit. No scoring. And now mishap there on bringing it up, but Alderson gets it past midcourt. Now finds a wide open compliment, fakes the three. Now pitches over there to Phillips. Pitches inside to Du Bois, puts it up off the glass and hits it. It looked like he was trying to draw some contact. Didn't get it, but he did get the points, nevertheless, cutting the lead to 1. He has a team-high 7 now. Fanning with the ball, double-teamed now. Cascade now playing very aggressive defense. And drive to the basket now. And ball knocked out of bounds to Cascade. So the Cadets trailing by 1 with the ball. 6:07 to go here in the third quarter. Alderson with the ball. Coming off a pick by Du Bois. Now Alderson pitches over to Du Bois, guarded by Lesko. Now a three-pointer by Du Bois. He hits it. He swished it. Perfect shot. So Du Bois with 5 quick points to start off the half. Cascade goes back in front, 24-22, and we got a timeout. Timeout South Putnam with 5:51 to go here in the third quarter at Clayton. So good start to the half for the Cadets. So it's been a game of, momentum swings. Like I said, Cascade had the 8-0 run in the first half, followed by the 10-0 South Putnam run. Now Cascade opens the second half with a 5-0 run to regain the lead. They're in good shape here. 8:30 your time of day. We're a little earlier in the game than we would be at this point, but the JV game went into overtime with Cascade beating South Putnam by a score of 54-52. And I'll tell you, it's just been, the older I get, and especially the more I commentate basketball, I've been watching basketball since I was 7 or 8 years old, and I'm 47 now. I started watching in the 78-79 season, but since I've been commentating, it's just dramatically changed the way that I watch the sport. Just like since I started acting in films, it's dramatically changed the way I watch movies. And, one thing it's just taught me a great appreciation for is the fundamentals of both basketball as well as football, since I commentate that too, and film. And, really, it should be common sense, but I didn't realize till I started commentating just how something simple such as taking care of the ball goes such a long way toward winning the game for you. So they're no good. I think that was a 3-point shot. Du Bois gets the rebound. And now Compliment throws all the way across court to Phillips. Drives into the lane. Pitches back out to Alderson. No, back out to Compliment. Fakes the 3. Drives into the lane. Pitches out to Stevenson. Lays it in. Ross Stevenson, it bounced 4 or 5 times, but it fell for him. He has 4 now, and it's a 7-0 run to start the second half by Cascade. They lead 26-22 over South Putnam. And now a long 3 by Plunkett. No good after a couple of bounces. Du Bois the rebound, gives it up to Alderson, brings it down, pitches over to Phillips. Now a 3-pointer by Compliment, no good. Rebound. And now my computer's wanting to do an update. So I'm going to have it, I'm going to schedule it for tomorrow, so it doesn't screw up this broadcast. So, God, that would be awful if it ever started to do that during a broadcast. So now Fanning with the ball. And now a steal there by Cascade. We got a clear path to the basket there by Compliment, and he's fouled at the act of shooting. That was a heck of an effort there to catch up with him and go for the block there by by Kane Gregory, a 6'3 sophomore. Nevertheless, he does commit the foul, and Compliment will be going to the free throw line. That's his first foul, and it's the second South Putnam foul of the half. Compliment on the first free throw. No good off the front of the rim. He has 3 points coming on a three-pointer in the first half. So now Gregory sits down, and Schnepp comes back in. Compliment on the second free throw now. No good. He missed them both. So Plunkett pulls down the rebound. He scored 10 points in the first half. In fact, he scored the first 10 points of the team, spanning the first and second quarters. He's been shut out since. They'll probably need a big finish for his team to come back and win. Now a drive to the basket and lay in there is good by Schnepp. He has 5 points now. So Alderson now drives up to the free throw line, pitches inside to Stevenson, posts up, hook shot, no good, gets his own rebound, puts it back up again, he hits it. So Stevenson with 6 points, including 4 here in the third quarter, and Cascade goes back up by 4. They're on a 9-2 run to start off the second half here, after not playing well in the last several minutes of the second quarter. So now drive to the basket. And now it's a steal there by Alderson. I'll tell you, I got to give Stevenson all the credit in the world there, at 5'11", just to get in there and, post up and, put it up, get his own rebound, and put it back up and in. That's so much toughness there. Now we got a technical now. I think it's going to be on Coach Du Bois. And let's see. There's going to be an Eagles team foul on Scott. They have not announced who the technical is on, though. Maybe there wasn't a technical. I could have sworn I saw the guy make the T sign, but. And Du Bois, I couldn't see Du Bois's back was Coach Du Bois's back was to me, so I couldn't tell. I didn't see if he had a heated look on his face or not, but I could have sworn there was a technical there. But oh no, the call was against. So maybe they got a flagrant foul or breakaway foul on South Putnam. The foul was, by the way, against Dalton Scott. The announcer just called it a foul. He didn't say it was a flagrant. But anyway, so Alderson hit both of them. He has 4 now. And it's an 11-2 run now to start off the quarter by Cascade. 3:25 to go here in the third quarter at Clayton. Only the third boys game of the season. The crowd has continued to file in. I think we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 fans now, probably about 60 or 70 South Putnam fans who made the trip, about 15 miles down US 40. And now Du Bois pitches into Walker, but it's tipped away, and South Putnam comes away with it. A break they desperately needed, trailing by 6. And now drive to the baseline there, pitches across court, and we got a steal there by Du Bois. He takes it home with a dunk. So Du Bois with the game-high 12 now, and this is one of those times when Dick Vitale says, better get a TO, baby. So after playing badly the last half of the second quarter, Cascade redeems itself with a 13-2 run to start off the third quarter here at Clayton. They lead 32-24 here with 2:52 to go here in the third quarter. And just think about what I said at halftime. If they played a mistake-free ball, if they took good care of the ball, if they brought their A game in the second half, I believed they would win. And so far that's, what's happening. And, each team, it should be noted, like I said, only one double-figure score for each team. Cascade averages 46.6 points a game coming into this game. South Putnam, almost identical, 47.5. So, this is one of those games, in which the first team that gets, an 8 or 10 point lead is probably going to pull away and win, because it means that the team's only big scorer is likely to start trying to, take the rest of the game, onto his shoulders and pull it out, and the other team will be geared to slow him down, to contain him, double and triple team him, because the other team probably doesn't have enough offensive weapons, so that you can afford to do that. And Cascade, while, Du Bois is their only double-figure scorers so far, and nobody else has more than 6, they have had 7 players score, which is good, even when they're not getting big numbers. I mean, at least everybody's done a little something. And now another steal, so now South Putnam's ball handling is getting sloppy, although the outlet pass there is picked up there. And now with a wide-open three-pointer, no good. And now rebound there, pitches over to Schnepp. So now Schnepp has it, pitches over now to Arnold. And there we've got a whistle with 2:13 to go here in the third quarter. It's going to be on compliment. That's his second, team second. So compliment sits down now. Mason Tharp comes into the game. He is a 6-foot sophomore. Both of these teams junior heavy, but more so South Putnam. And now a three-pointer by Plunkett off the side of the backboard there. Alderson with the ball now. Guarded by Schnepp. He gives it up to Bryson Phillips now. Pitches over to Mason Tharp. Loses control of the ball, then gets it back. Pitches it over to Du Bois. Finds a wide open Tharp. Now pitches out to Alderson for an open three. He hit it! So Alderson with 7 now, and Cascade has taken control of this game. They lead it by 11 now. They've outscored South Putnam 16-2. And now a steal by Du Bois. He's got an open shot, and he dunked it. It started to roll out, but it went back in. So 14 game high for Du Bois now, and we got another timeout. Cascade playing, some of its best basketball of the season right now. They're up by 13 with 1:32 to go here in the third quarter. It looks like this is theirs to lose, and South Putnam takes another timeout now. 18-2 run here in the quarter. Last Tuesday, a week ago today, I commentated the girls' game here against Northview. Cascade led only 35-33 going into the fourth quarter. The Lady Cadets then gave an awesome performance and outscored Northview in the fourth quarter by a margin of 17-0. And yes, that is correct. Northview did not score at all in the fourth quarter. It hasn't been quite that situation here today in the third quarter because the Eagles do have 2 points, but still an 18-2 margin isn't bad. So it's, and when you hold your team to, you hold your opponents to just 2 points or 0 as the girls did last week, that's pure A-plus effort. So now another steal attempt there. And, and Cascade, there's a loose ball. Yes, Alderson comes away with it. He takes it down court, and then he pulls back out. But it's okay. We got an 11-point lead in the ball. Now a three-pointer by Alderson. No good. Boy, this place would have come alive had he hit it. Nevertheless, great third quarter here. So Stevenson now coming in. Du Bois sitting down probably for the rest of the quarter. Stevenson with Du Bois with 2 breakaway dunks here in the third quarter. Though the last one was one of the oddest dunks I've ever seen because it started to go out but then ended up going in. And now, finally, the drought. So Arnold with his first points for South Putnam. Cascade still with an 11-point lead with 44 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Phillips with the ball now. Pitches over to Alderson. Oh, bad pass. So it's just total miscommunication there. About the only really bad play that Cascade has made here. It's been, I'd say, I said if they brought their A game in the second half, they would probably get away with the win. I'd say this has been an A- quarter by Cascade. And now collision there, and I think Plunkett got fouled. It'll be a non-shooting foul. Yeah, it's going to be on Stevenson. Now compliment coming in for Benson Walker. That was, by the way, that's Stevenson's second, team fourth. Now a three-pointer by Plunkett. He hits it, he swished it, and boy, they're going to need, some heavy action from him the rest of the game. So all of a sudden, after they were down by 13, South Putnam has cut it back to single figures. They trail by 8. 5 seconds left to go in the quarter now. Alderson with the ball. Pitches over to Stevenson for three. He hit it! He hit it! Boy, that's a great way to give us some momentum going back into the fourth quarter. So, your Cascade Cadets, 8 minutes away from their 5th victory of the season. They lead the South Putnam Eagles by a score of 49-20 here on AudioSportsOnline.com. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the cadets, Hendricks Regional Health, Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall, and North Salem State Bank, Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, and Dunn Insurance Agency, Gold Partner, Endeavor Communications, Silver Partner, Electric Plus, and Bronze Partner, Hankey Photography, and DMH Photographics. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student-athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, we're about to start the fourth quarter of this boys basketball varsity game with your Cascade Cadets leading the South Putnam Eagles by a score of 40-29. It's a game in which Cascade got off to an outstanding 18-2 run to start off the quarter. South Putnam threatened to make it interesting with a 5-0 run to cut it back to 8, but then Ross Stevenson hit a three-pointer at the buzzer to give Cascade the momentum back. So this one is theirs to lose now. Thomas Fanning starting off the quarter. Near the end of that third quarter, Allen Plunkett hit a three-pointer, his first points since the first half when he had his team's first 10 points. They'll probably need a big finish from him if they're going to have a chance to get back in it. And now Plunkett lays it in. He has a game-high 15, and that cuts the lead back to 9. So South Putnam still with an outside shot at this one. Cascade, but as long as Cascade plays good fundamental ball the rest of the way, they'll be all right. Stevenson for three. This one no good off the top of the rim. Oh, and now we got a collision there between Gregory and Du Bois. And it's going to go against Du Bois. I could not tell, who initiated the contact there, but that goes against Du Bois. That's his second, team fifth. So now inside to Plunkett. Fakes it, then puts up a hook shot, and he hits it. So Plunkett all of a sudden with 7 quick points here in the last 2 or 3 minutes. So he's heating up again. So it cuts the lead to 7 now. So it's a 4-0 start to the quarter now by South Putnam. 6:56 to go, so Cascade better not take this one for granted yet. And now we got a foul here as Du Bois was aggressively charging to the basket, perhaps trying to take control, trying to take matters into his own hands. And we got a technical against a South Putnam player. I guess he said something that the referee didn't like. It looked like there was some contact between him and Du Bois. But I'll tell you, in a game like this, you can't afford to get a technical. And I try not to get too hard unless I see something absolutely outrageous like throwing a chair. I try not to get too judgmental because I don't know what the player said. You know, some officials have a shorter fuse than others. So I don't want to be too hard on him, but you got to stay composed in situations like this because a technical can easily cost you the game. So that technical, the first free throw by Tharp is no good after a couple of bounces. But, yeah, that was on Kane Gregory. That's his third foul. So now the officials are discussing something. I'm not sure. So they have not given the ball back to Gregory for his second free throw yet. And now one of the officials is talking to okay. I don't know. Maybe there's some confusion about whether that was. Apparently, there was a personal foul there on Gregory and then a technical afterwards, so maybe they were wondering which one was which. So then anyway, Gregory hit, Tharp, with his first points. With his first point of the game, it was only one. But nevertheless, he becomes the 8th cadet to score, and they push the lead back up to 8. And now underneath to Du Bois. He's double-teamed, pitches back out to a wide-open player for 3. He hit it. That was Tharp. So now all of a sudden Cascade seizing the momentum back. So, and that's an example of why you just can't get a technical. I mean, it really can totally change the momentum of the game for your team. And it happened when South Putnam had a fair chance to get back in it when they clearly were starting to get the momentum back after 7 quick points there by Plunkett. And now we have Wes Lesko fouled in the act of shooting. That's going to be on Tharp. So, yeah, I don't know what Gregory said, but, again, you just got to stay composed in situations like that. I'm not saying he didn't, but, I'm just saying that you have to, whether he did or not, whether the technical was justified or not. So, Lesko hits them both. He has 3 now. 44-35. Note from college basketball, Purdue beat Wisconsin 78-50. Maybe this will be the year Purdue finally gets over the hump and gets to the Final Four. Never happened for Gene Cady, definitely one of the all-time great coaches who never went to a Final Four. Maybe Matt Painter will get it done now. So now, South Putnam with the ball, a little under 6 minutes to go now. Let's go with the ball at the right perimeter. He pitches back over to Plunkett. Now they have now out to Fanning, inside to Lesko, who lays it in. That's his first field goal. He has 5 on the game now, and the lead's now down to 7. 5:39 to go. Cascade just gotta take care of the ball. If they take care of the ball the rest of the way, if they hit their free throws, they should be fine. Now inside to Du Bois. Reverse layup, no good. Rebound by Plunkett. Plunkett's had a streaky game. Now a 3 for Plunkett. He hit it. So Plunkett with a game-high 20 now, cuts the lead to 4. And now this is a time where Cascade better get a TO, baby, because this one's starting to slip away. 5:16 to go now. Cascade still on top, but it's been cut from 13 to 4. It was 37 to 24, and then the Eagles are on a 16-4. The Eagles are on a 16-4 run since then. So certainly, not a time. I'm sorry, 16-7 run. 16-7 run. So they've trimmed 9 points off the lead. It's not a time to panic, but it is a time to be concerned and start thinking about what got you that lead, what got you that 18-2 run to start off the third quarter. And I'll tell you, it's really interesting to watch, the way that Plunkett has played in this game. He started off red hot. He got 10 points in just a little over a quarter. Then went about a quarter and a half without scoring. Now all of a sudden he has 10 quick points again. So, his 20 points is divided between two spurts of 10. So now coming off a pick by Du Bois, Alderson passes over to Tharp for 3. No good off the back of the rim. Not a real good shot selection. That was an NBA distance 3. I know Sharp did hit a 3 earlier, but I think now you just got to be working in for a good shot. Although it does go out of bounds to Cascade. So Stevenson to inbound. Tries to find a man. Gets it to Tharp. Pitches over to Du Bois at the top of the key. Du Bois over to Tharp. Now to Alderson. Walker, calling for the ball under the basket. Now Dalton Du Bois pitches out over to, and now a drive to the basket by Western. Gives it over to to Walker, and he tips it in. That was Benson Walker. He has 5. And that's a much-needed Cascade score. They go up by 6 now. 4:30 to go in the game, barring overtime. The JV game did go to overtime with Cascade winning. Now Lesko on the other end puts it in. He's fouled. Chance for a 3-point play. So Lesko, a very big guy at 6'6", 264, trying to take the game over in his own right. That's going to go against Walker, his 4th. So Lesko with 7, trying to make it 8, trying to make it a one-possession game. No good. So it's still a 2-possession game, 46-42 Cascade, 4:20 to go, and the Cadets have the ball. So now Du Bois with the ball, jumper just inside the free throw lane. He's fouled and he hits it. Big play for the Cadets. They go up by 6, a chance to make it 7, make it a 3-possession lead with 4:13 to go. Du Bois with 16 now. If he hits this, he'll be up to his average. He averages 18 a game on the season, Each team with only one double-figure scorer on the season. It's holding true tonight as well in this game. So now Stevenson coming in for Walker, who has 4 fouls. Du Bois on the free throw is good. He has 17. The next highest scorer for Cascade is Alderson with 7. So now a 3-pointer there by Plunkett. In and out. And Cascade controls the rebound. Wide open down court. And we got a lay-in by Western. So Western with 4. The Cadets go up by 9. And now this is theirs to lose. 3:46 to go. So now we got a whistle here. It's going to foul. Let's see. It's going to be against Western. So Plunkett will be going to the line. Plunkett with 20. Like I said, he had 10 early points. Then he's had 10 points just in the last few minutes for a game-high 20. So Tharp sitting down. He has 4 points, including a 3-pointer. Plunkett now. First one is up and good. He has 21, game high. Du Bois leads Cascade with 17. He hit them both. 22 for Plunkett now. He averages 17. He's only a junior, 6'5". He will be a big college, should be a Division I college player. So now Du Bois for another 3. He hit it! He swished it! Du Bois with 20. So a 20-point scorer by each team. Du Bois, and now no good. And a rebound there by Du Bois. Gives it up to Alderson. Cascade with a 10-point lead now. Alderson finds a wide-open compliment, fakes a 3, pitches inside to Alderson. Compliment pitches inside to Alderson, but he wisely brings it back out. And now we got a timeout by Cascade. Good. I like this timeout. The game, they got a firm grip on this one. You just want to tell your guys, stay in control. Don't blow it. Take care of the ball, and this one's yours. 3:04 to go. Cascade with a 10-point lead. And now the guy next to me is getting up to, he's putting his coat on to leave. I see a lady putting her coat on too. usually most high school basketball or high school sports fans stay till the end of the game, but I can understand wanting to go ahead and get home early on a night like this. 8:58 your time of day. The temperature outside in Clayton, let's see, I'm pulling it up right now. It was 7 degrees around the time the game started. It's still showing 7, but that's bad enough. Overnight low tonight of 2 projected. High tomorrow of 21. But then Thursday, projected high of 30, and then we're supposed to have highs in the 30s and 40s every day from then until a week from Thursday. So, Cascade and South Putnam returning to the court. Cascade leading 54-44 with 3:04 to go here in the fourth quarter. Cascade, barring a collapse, will get their fifth. And now Du Bois left wide open for 3, and he swishes it, and he just put his hands to his side like, wow, I can't believe it. So Du Bois now takes over the game scoring lead from Plunkett. He has 23 now. He's really come alive here in this fourth quarter, showing the leadership of a senior who should be playing college ball a year from now, probably, I would say, a Division II or Division III college. Maybe he'll choose an NAIA college close to home. Hopefully he'll stay close to home like Bailey Walker and Ian Birch did, last year's Cascade graduates who are now playing for Franklin. Or, at least stay in state like Michaela Collier did up at Goshen in the northern part of the state. And now we've got a reach in there against Cascade with 2:20 to go. So South Putnam will be going to the line, but their margin for error is just about 0 now. Free throw is good there by Plunkett. He has 23 team high, tying Du Bois for the game high. He hit them both, cutting the lead to 8. And he now has a game high 24, 2:20 to go. It'll be interesting to see how long South Putnam waits to foul. Probably with this much time left, they'll probably give at least 10, 15 seconds or so to go for a steal. But Cascade. Now Alderson drives in, pitches back out to Stevenson. 2 minutes to go now, and now a near steal there, but Tharp maintains control. That was a good effort. Alderson with the ball now, drives inside the 3-point lane. And now nearly stolen away from him, but gets it inside to Du Bois, puts it up, and he hit it. Delton Du Bois with 25. Delton Du Bois has completely dominated here in the fourth quarter, giving Cascade, and now the ball knocked out of bounds to South Putnam with 1:33 to go. And it's a 55-46 lead for Cascade. And now a three-pointer by Plunkett, no good. And I think he was trying to draw contact, didn't get it. It goes out of bounds to Cascade with 1:22 to go. And that should just about do it. So now Du Bois, if they find a beautiful reverse layup. Wow, Du Bois. And what's great to see about the way Du Bois has taken this game over is that he did it both inside and outside. He's had at least 2 3-pointers as well as the 17-foot jump shot in which he converted the 3-point play, and then he scored several layups as well. So outstanding effort by the Cadets as they look like under a minute to go. So Cascade, barring an extreme collapse, will come away with this one. And it was too close for comfort. And so it's been since it was 44-40. Then it's been early in the quarter after Plunkett, went on that tear. It's been a 17-2 run. So each team with some great runs today, but Cascade, the big difference, the 18-2 run in the third quarter, and here the 17-2 run here in the third quarter. So you combine those two runs, that's a 35-2 run. So that's outstanding. Overall, the margin in the second half is 32. 42-24 in favor of Cascade. They trailed by 3 at the half, up by 15 now. So now Fanning hits a free throw. That's his 9th. If he hits this, he'll become only the 3rd double-figure scorer in the game behind Plunkett and Du Bois. The second one up and good. Fanning's had a quiet second half after doing a lot of good things in the first half. So now let's see how much of an effort the Cadets make to foul, or the Eagles make to foul. And now Tharp loses control of it, and so Cascade, they go for the steal. It goes out of bounds to South Putnam. However, they still trail by 13 with 40.2 seconds to go, so not much to do now except put up a bunch of three-point shots. Now Plunkett does so. He misses, and we got a foul there on the rebound attempt. That's going to be okay. It's going to be That's going to be on Schnepp there. So Du Bois will be going to the free throw line to keep on, upping his point totals. He does. Wow. What can you say? Heck of an effort there. He hit them both. So Delton Du Bois, the man of the hour here in Clayton. And now another steal there. And Du Bois tries to, they try to feed him for an alley-oop. It goes out of bounds to Cascade, but, what an effort. Really outstanding second half by Cascade. So now I would imagine Cascade, it looks like they're just going to let the clock run out. So Cascade, after, a scare in the first half and even in the early fourth quarter, they finish strong and they get their 5th win of the season, beating South Putnam by a score of 63-48 here on audiosportsonline.com. We'll be back with a recap and a look ahead to our next broadcast after these words from our sponsors. The Cascade High School Athletic Department. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the Cadets, Hendricks Regional Health, Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall, and North Salem State Bank, Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, and Dunn Insurance Agency, Gold Partner Endeavor Communications, Silver Partner Electric Plus, and Bronze Partner Henke Photography and DMH Photographics. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton for a final time tonight, where your Cascade Cadets have had a monster second half en route to getting their 5th win of the season, beating the South Putnam Eagles by a score of 63-48. It's a game in which the teams were largely neck and neck in the first half. After trailing 8-6, Cascade went on an 8-0 run, followed by a 10-0 South Putnam run, and then after Michael Alderson hit a jump shot to tie it at 16. Then South Putnam went on to lead at the half by 22-19. Starting off, after they scored the first 5 points of the game after Alderson had tied it. And then, however, in the third quarter, after I said at the half that, Cascade would probably win if they played their A game and took care of the ball in the second half, because, a lot of their troubles in the first half came from sloppy passing that was converted into easy South Putnam points. And, I was proven right, thankfully, as Cascade opened up the third quarter on a 28, on an 18-2 run. South Putnam did go on a mini run of their own, cutting the lead to 4 early in the fourth quarter after Allen Plunkett exploded for 12 quick points, having been shut out since early in the second quarter. However, Cascade then finished the game on an outstanding 19-4 run to close out, as Dalton DuBois completely took over the game. He hit 2 3-point field goals, also converted a 3-point play on a jump shot from just inside the 3-point arc. Also had several, he had 2 breakaway dunks and a few layups as well. So Dalton DuBois playing one of the best games of his life, which is saying something. So, basically, Cascade, their second half performance is a solid A minus at worst. There, I can count on one hand the number of mistakes I remember them making in the second half. The only concern is their let up, in the latter half of the second quarter. After they had the lead, 14-8. It looked like they, with South Putnam having only one good scorer, that Cascade, was really taking control of the game. Then they got sloppy, started throwing a lot of bad passes. And the thing is, South Putnam, not a bad team, but certainly not a great team either. They entered the game 6-6, having played a pretty weak schedule. And a junior-dominated team, really, with one probable Division I player, but overall just a very average high school team. And we should not have been in a position where we had to have a big second half. We were, and we did pull it out, when it mattered. We came through when the game was on the line. But, we would not be able, there are teams who we could not afford that kind of lapse against. We could get away with it against South Putnam. There are games that we would lose. There are teams that we would lose to with the kind of lapse we had in the second half. So, above all, this was a glass 75% full rather than 25% empty game. If I were Coach DuBois, going through the game film, I would certainly compliment, what they did in the second half, because it was an A or at worst A minus performance. But I'd say, hey guys, you did a good job pulling out the win, but we can't let, this kind of lapse happen again, because it can come back to bite us. And, and keep in mind that South Putnam, is in our sectional, and we could run into them again in just about 6 weeks, and they certainly will want to get back at us for this. And, Allen Plunkett, he started strong, finished strong, didn't do a lot in between. He took a lot of good shots that just didn't fall. And, he's the type who, he's capable of, being a one-man wrecking crew, as is DuBois, probably a little more than DuBois. So, if we run into him in the playoffs, we got to be ready for him, because, he's going to, remember this game and, want to get revenge. And, of course, last year, Cascade last year on the girls' side, Cascade beat South Putnam 68-46 in the regular season out South Putnam. Then South Putnam came back here and beat us 63-52 in a shocking upset in the semifinal round of the tournament. One of the most painful losses in Cascade history. That was a Cascade team that was, almost certain to win the sectional and had an outside shot at the Class 2A state championship. And I feel that way even more seeing what Bailey Walker's doing down at Franklin College, where she's just having an outstanding season, especially for a freshman. Anyway, this certainly, I hoped coming in, being only the third home game for Cascade this season, I hoped that this would be a good way to kickstart their season into high gear, get them starting off on a winning streak. They have not won 2 games in a row yet this year. And get them starting to play their best basketball of the season as we head into these last few games toward the playoffs, which is what the girls have been doing in the last month or so. Anyway, let's take a look at the individual scoring for this game. First of all, for Cascade, Dalton Dubois with 32 points. I need to check the records. I'm not sure if that's a career high or not. Certainly, it's one of the best games he's ever played. And he completely came alive in the fourth quarter. I think he had about 15, 17 or so in the quarter. And he had at least 2 3-point field goals, 2, and then as another 3-point play, and then 2 breakaway dunks. And I know he had a few points other than that. So again, Dubois with 32, a little over half of our points by my count. Then Michael Alderson had 7, Ross Stevenson had 6, Benson Walker had 5, Chase Western had 4, Mason Tharp had 4, Dylan Compliment had 3, and Bryson Phillips had 2. So 8 players for Cascade scored. And granted, we still have the same problem where we don't have a reliable breakthrough scorer other than Dubois, but at least we did have a lot of guys contribute. Each did a little something that helped, jumpstart the game at some point. Tharp hit a 3 when we were starting to pull away there. I think it was still late in the third quarter. Compliment hit a 3 early on. Alderson had a couple of key baskets in there. Stevenson, had a couple of threes. One at the end of the one at the buzzer in the second quarter to give us to push the lead back up to 11 after South Putnam had cut it to 8. So there were a lot of guys who did contribute. Hopefully we can get each of them to step his game up a notch, and do a little more. But nevertheless, heading down the stretch now that we're in the second half of the season, and now now that we've got some home games coming up, that should help as well. But hopefully this game, will be the turning point. Last December 15th, that Friday night where we had the boys-girls varsity doubleheader against Owen Valley, and the Cascade girls lost, and then they came back and beat South Putnam in dramatic fashion the next afternoon, which was especially sweet, since they eliminated us, as I said earlier, in our first tournament game last year in a big upset. And they really showed a lot of heart pulling it out, and by 3 points, and making some clutch shots late and hanging on when it looked like the game was in danger of slipping away. And I said, I was hopeful that would be the turning point of their season, where really now everything would be on track. And they've won 4 of the 5 games since then, the only loss being against Danville, a ranked 3A team. And now Cascade is 8-9 after the 0-6 start, and looks like they have an excellent shot to make a deep tournament run this year, having overcome their early struggles. And I think the same thing can happen with the boys' team. Certainly losing Evan, I underestimated the effect of losing Evan Birch and Alec Alderson, just like with the girls. I underestimated the effect of losing Bailey Walker and Michaela Collier, but both teams seem to be finding themselves getting their chemistry in order while there's still time to do a lot of big things. And neither team is going to win as many regular season games as they did last year, but it's neither team won a tournament game last year, and there's a very good chance that will change this year. A lot depends on the almighty draw, I'm not going to guarantee anything after the virtual guarantee of a sectional championship for the girls last year. But right now, I would say, I feel a lot better than I did, 4 or 5 weeks ago about the chance of both the boys and the girls getting, one or more one or more tournament wins, and maybe even getting a sectional championship. So it would be the first for the boys in 12 years, the first for the girls in 11 years. So there's a lot of basketball still to be played, a lot of variables, but it can be done, and the main thing is that the teams are showing improvement, and that's what you want to see throughout the season. Last year, the girls started off red hot, started to regress late in the season, and nearly lost a game to Avon. They came in, an Avon team that we were far better than, who led us by 20, and then we came back to win by 3. But the point is, we didn't really start playing good ball until late in the second quarter, and then that largely repeated itself in the sectional game to South Putnam. We started off playing very badly. We came back and turned it on later, but we just didn't. Seemed to run out of gas in the process, and the boys. It was more steady from start to finish, whereas this year they started off slow and now have gradually improved, and it'll be good to see a lot more of them over this next month. It's hard to believe this is only the third time they've played at home this season, and like I said, the first time in 32 days. So anyway, let's take a look at what's coming up. We've got a whole lot to report, and there have been a few schedule changes here because of the 2 postponements of the boys-girls doubleheader out at Cascade. Right now, it's no longer going to be a doubleheader. The girls will be playing out at Cascade on Thursday night. We'll be bringing you that one here on audiosportsonline.com as long as my car situation gets straightened out. I will do my best with that. And anyway, there's not going to be a JV game. Varsity girls only. Start time at 6:30, so that we'll start the pregame at 6:15. We should have weather in the 30s by then, so it'll be a lot more pleasant. The road should be good enough to drive out there. It's only about a 25-minute drive from here. You just go down US 40 and then go about 5 miles south on 231. And the Lady Eagles boast one of the top centers in the state in 5'9" junior center Tori Combs, who's the 12th or 13th leading rebounder in the game, averaging nearly 13 rebounds a game. So, and then on Friday night, the Cascade girls return home to play their WIC crossover opponent, who I think is still undetermined. So that's a likely win. So, if Cascade wins those 2 games, then they will be above 500 for the first time this season, which is not bad after an 0-6 start. And then on Saturday, the girls will play again, so they'll actually, because of the schedule rechange, have a game on 3 days in a row. Hopefully fatigue won't be too much of a factor. But we'll have a girls varsity, junior varsity doubleheader at starting at noon. With we'll start the pregame show for the varsity game at 1:15. That will be against Plainfield, who's a very good Class 4A team, just won the Hendricks County Championship earlier this month, and have a record of 11-6. They're always a tough opponent. Last year, we played them twice, once in the tournament, in the county tournament, once in our regularly scheduled game, lost the games by 4 and 3. So it would be great if we could hang with them, or at least hang with them, if not get the win, since they are a Class 4A team that's very often ranked, and a county rival, of course. And then that night, we will have a boys varsity, junior varsity doubleheader against Indian Creek. The Braves entered the game with a record of 9-4, and in their last game, they actually took Center Grove, the number 12 ranked team in Class 4A, to overtime. So that should be a very tough one. And I will be bringing you both varsity games that night here on audiosportsonline.com. And then finally, a week from tonight, you're going to have to make a choice. If you're a bigger fan of the boys, you can go out to Cloverdale to see Cascade play the Clovers, who feature Jalen Moore, the number one scorer in the state. He averages 37.1 points per game. He's a swift, penetrating, sharpshooting 5'9" guard who's committed to play college basketball at Utah State. Or you can stay here in Clayton and attend the senior day for this 7-woman class of Lady Cadets as they play the up-and-coming Avon Lady Orioles, one of the top turnaround stories of the state this year, who are about to break a streak of 9 consecutive losing seasons. So I'm not telling you, follow your heart. I wish you could split yourselves in two and go to both games. I wish I could. I'll be here covering the Cascade game, and it will be great to honor the senior class of Olivia Bryant, Sophia Bryant, Amelia Bryant, Trinity Hostetler, Hannah Rasnake, Abby Church, and Katie Cleveland. So that'll be a very emotional evening. It won't be the last time that they play here because they'll play at least one sectional game here, hopefully more. But, nevertheless, hope you all will get out there and, unless you're going to be at the boys' game, hopefully you'll be out here to, honor those seniors, since that will be the date that they are honored here. So this concludes our broadcast. Once again, your final score here tonight, Cascade 63, South Putnam 48. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I cordially invite you to do so again this Thursday, at the special start time of 6:15 as your Cascade Lady Cadets visit the Cloverdale Lady Clovers. And then our next boys game will be Friday night with the pregame at 7:15 as Cascade hosts Indian Creek. Until we meet again, for AudioSportsOnline.com, this is Lec Zorn reminding you there is a difference only you can make.